Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breech coming to you with just a quick little video. Mostly going to be about CM Punk, but first of all, they came out with a rating last night for Monday Night Raw, 2.45. I don't think that really makes any bit of deal at all. You know, Monday Night Raw just happened to fall on a holiday, being 4th of July. The start time for Monday Night Raw is 9 o'clock. What time does it get dark? 9 o'clock. Are you going to go outside and shoot fireworks off with your friends? You got to stay inside and watch wrestling. Most of us we'll watch wrestling 90% of the time, no matter what's going on. But when it comes to going outside, I'm going to go out and blow something up every chance I can get. You know, every once in a while this happens where a show will fall on Christmas or Thanksgiving, and it just, it's just the deal of the, it just sucks. But, you can't really use it against them. It was a taped show to begin with, which normally gets the low rating, and it just sucks that it happened with this major CM Punk thing that's going down. There's not a lot of news that comes out when they go overseas. WWE was in Australia recently, and sometimes the news that comes out is just stuff that like the news sites are just squeezing onto anything, trying to make anything to make some hits on the website. And this news that came out today from Dave Meltzer that said that CM Punk is going to turn face, and that is basically what is coming from this whole McMahon and Cena angle is horrible. I mean, thinking of CM Punk as a face again in the WWE is like eating cereal with glass inside of it. That is nothing that I want to see on my TV at all. CM Punk is one of the best heels of all time. I wouldn't even call him a heel. I would call him a villain. I mean, CM Punk is just like when I would talk about the CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio feud when they were on SmackDown, it was just that was great. That was nothing like Rey Mysterio, the comic book character, and CM Punk was the arch villain that was trying anything you could do just to stop Rey Mysterio. When CM Punk looks into the camera with just that face, he doesn't even have to say anything, and you can totally get what he's saying. I honestly believe that CM Punk could kill somebody. I mean, the guy has that look of just being beyond crazy. Um, it just sucks that he got put in the place that he was in. He was on SmackDown and he just became this instant big time heel with the start of the Straight Edge Society, that I'm better than you and all that. And he came off of that and we got moved over to Monday Night Raw, took over the slot in the Nexus, which built a very, very good block of TV. I mean, for a good 2, 3 weeks, him joining Nexus with Wade Barrett and then kicking Wade Barrett out, and then taking over the group, and people leaving to go to SmackDown, like the people did to join the core, Jason Gabriel and Heath Slater, and that was just good. Going through the initiation, the hazing, in order to stay in Nexus. That he only wanted the tough of the tough to be there, and seeing how he had one group and going from one group and instantly, joining another group, didn't make a lot of sense to people. And then, the group just sort of, just dried up and died. And that's basically what's going to happen to Nexus. All good things must come to an end. And unfortunately, this angle came to an end around WrestleMania time. You can see that they had nothing for these guys, and that, they were just a pawn in CM Punk's game, which could have been used a whole lot better. It was interesting to see Randy Orton punt these guys, one by one, and drop them and fall off. But in my mind, there was nothing wrong with the Nexus when Wade Barrett was in charge. Honestly, looking now, Wade Barrett moving over to SmackDown was a fail in my eyes, because the core never really took off like it was supposed to, and he didn't become the star that I thought he was going to. I thought he was, on Monday Night Raw, owning that show. Him and John Cena was the biggest angle that they had in the WWE for months upon months, and it was never really getting to the point that it was stale. It was great. I thought that when Wade Barrett jumped over to SmackDown, I thought he was going to become the champion just like that. I thought that was the deal. I thought they were going to put him on that show, SmackDown, which is sort of the minor leagues of WWE right now. And I thought that he was going to become the man, and they're not even using him over there. I mean, Nexus should have stayed together. Wade Barrett and Randy Orton could have worked a hell of a promo, or a hell of an angle at WrestleMania. That would have been great. CM Punk would have found something else to do. Sometimes they do some changes just to get some interesting things out of it, and then they just fall through the cracks. So that leaves guys like Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy, two guys that I think that are really, really good. I think Otunga is a guy that WWE wants to make a future star. I think they would love to have him in a main slot at WrestleMania, where they could have Jennifer Hudson, his wife, sing the national anthem. That's a big story that would be all over Entertainment Tonight and all those other crappy 5:30 shows that come on TV. I think that that is, a future angle that they're trying to get to. The only problem is that Otunga is really, really green, and they're using him on the main roster instead of pushing him through FCW, and he's got to work matches, and he's got to get better. He's just not there yet. And then Michael McGillicuddy, who's a star in my eyes. I think if you just turn him loose right now, I think that he is, I think he's gold. I think you can put him in matches right now for the U.S. title. I think you would have great matches with Kofi. I think you would have great matches with Dolph Ziggler. I think that Michael McGillicuddy, the sky, the stars are the limit for this guy. I honestly think he's going to be a future world champion someday for the WWE. I think that he is a main event draw, and he's going to get there. And now the one guy that I really feel bad for is Mason Ryan. Mason Ryan's the guy that came with the big splash, high expectations. A lot of people look at this guy like he was Batista too, and he's honestly going to have to get repackaged of some sort, coming out of this. More than likely, hopefully he'll get some time to go back down to developmental, or some people will start to forget about this. There was talks of him joining up with somebody and being like a bodyguard presence for somebody else. That's pretty much the same thing he was doing for CM Punk. So it doesn't make sense for him to, evolve into something for The Miz or something like that. I mean, The Miz already had, a backup guy, and well, it was the guy that was basically the same size as him, but maybe it'll be good for him to have somebody bigger. But I think even guys like Batista. Batista came in and he was the backup bodyguard for Devon. That didn't work out, and then he had to get repackaged, and that became Dave Batista, which turned into Evolution, so on and so forth, and became the world champion. So maybe this repackage could be good for him. But getting back to the CM Punk thing, I think this is horrible. I don't think anybody out there wants to see CM Punk turn face. I mean, yes, he has a big, strong following. If you remember back to Chicago's Monday Night Raw, the week before WrestleMania this year, they started out the show with Punk and Nexus in the ring, and he was just sitting there, and the whole, Chicago, I believe Harpo was there. That place was just going bananas. It was going crazy. Team Rai was there as well. But that was just an awesome show. Everybody was just loving CM Punk, and yes, he has a big following in the the main market of people that watch the show, but those people love to see CM Punk be the heel. Not one person's out there's like, man, I really wish I could see CM Punk tag team with John Cena this week. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't make sense. CM Punk the heel, that makes money. CM Punk the face, you got to remember back when this guy was on Monday Night Raw and he was the champion. He got kicked in the head by Randy Orton. He lost the title without even getting the pin. That's because nobody cared about it. They passed the belt on to somebody else, and they just kept on rolling. He didn't even get a rematch. He didn't get nothing. Nobody thought about him. Nobody talked about him. Another good point is, if you remember when he was at a tag team with Kofi Kingston, he was the tag team champions as well as the Intercontinental champion. And nobody cared about this guy. Everybody talked about him because King of the Indies and all that stuff. He has the big following from before he was a superstar, but CM Punk the heel, that gets over. That's what people want to see. CM Punk the face, that's boring and it makes me want to take a nap.